He flicked another frisbee. I sank my hand in the package, stuck a cookie in my mouth, and then threw several like Bobby. The little chocolate discs intersected each other like hummingbirds. Behind us, Mama wailed. Another plate hit the kitchen sink, followed by another, then another. The change in sound suggested she'd made her way through all the plates and moved on to the cups and saucers. The cacophony echoing from the kitchen kept rhythm with the irregular drumbeat of our own shattering fragility. I glanced over my shoulder, but could find no safe purchase. Tears puddled in the corners of Bobby's eyes. His lip was quivering. When Mama screamed and had a tough time catching her breath, the tears broke loose. I tucked the pencil behind my ear and held my sunset sketch at eye level, where the wind caught it like a kite. Imprisoned between my fingers, the paper flapped. When I unlocked the prison door, the crude drawing butterfly danced down the beach and landed in the waves. I glanced behind me. "We better go check on her." Bobby pushed his forearm across his lips and nose, smearing his face and arm. His hair had fallen down over his eyes. Like mine, it was bleached blonde from salt water and sunlight. I stood and offered him my hand. He accepted it, and I pulled him up. The sun had nearly disappeared now, and cast long shadows on the house, where our world lay in pieces around us, like the 10 billion shells at our feet. Bobby stared at the road down which Dad had disappeared. A thin trail of whitish-blue exhaust was all that remained of his wake. He said some, and tried to shake off the sob he'd been holding back. Real hard things. I put my arm around his shoulder, and his sob broke loose. We stood on the beach, alone, fatherless, empty, and angry. I made a fist, crushing a cookie, grinding it to powder. When the pieces spilled out between my fingers onto the beach, a physical and very real pain pierced my chest. 53 years later, it would stop. Chapter 1. Present day. Witnesses say the phone call occurred around 7 p.m., and the exchange was heated. While the man seated at the truck stop diner was calm and his voice low, the woman's voice on the other end was not. Though unseen, she was screaming loudly, and stuff could be heard breaking in the background. 7 of the 9 people in the diner, including the waitress, say Jake Gibson made several attempts to reason with her, but she cut him off at every turn. He would listen, nod, adjust his oiled ball cap, and try to get a word in edgewise. "Allie, baby, I know, but if you'll just let me... I'm sorry, but I've been driving for 42 hours. He rubbed his face and eyes. "Dead on my feet." A minute or two passed while he hunkered over the phone, trying to muffle the sound of her incoherent babbling. "I know it's a big deal, and you've put a lot of work into..." Another pause, more nodding, another rub of his eyes. "Invitations, decorations, lights. Yes, I remember how much you paid for the band, but..." At this point, he took off his hat and rubbed his bald head. "I got rerouted at Flagstaff, and it just plain took the starch out of me." He closed his eyes. "Baby, I just can't get there. Not tonight. I'll cook you some eggs in the morn..." It was more of the same. Nothing had changed. Allie Gibson wasn't listening anyway. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. With their marriage on the rocks, they'd taken a break.